Welcome to another Keepsake Crafts video. Today I will be showing you how to make this beaded necklace using just beads, wax linen twine, and some knots. I'll also show you how to add a lobster claw clasp, or you can actually make it without that altogether. I made this necklace to match this bracelet from my Naughty Beaded bracelet tutorial. This one is a little more complex, but this necklace is very simple. You're going to love it. So let's get started. So I've gone ahead and gotten all set up to make this necklace. And I have this great little board that's specifically for making jewelry. It's nice because you have the numbers so you can determine the length in advance and these little channels to keep your beads from rolling about. But you don't have to have one. I made an alternate one that you could do with any shallow tray that you have in your home. This is just a shoebox lid. Lined it with a towel. You just need something with a little bit of nap to keep your beads from rolling about. And there you go. So whatever it is that you're going to be using, go ahead and lay out your beads to give you an idea of what you want. We're going to be using wax linen twine to make this necklace. It's just the same as the bracelets I made in another video. The great thing about wax linen is that the wax coating makes it so that knots stay in place. So for this necklace, which is going to be fairly long, and we'll make it so that it can be doubled and worn as a choker, we need about 60 inches. Two 60-inch lengths of the wax linen. And you're going to start by putting them together and simply making a knot somewhere near the middle. It's not crucial. Now one thing you want to do is sharpen the ends of your twine. And you simply take a pair of scissors. In fact, I'll grab all four and do them all at once. Efficient or lazy, however you want to call it, and just cut them at an angle. And then take each one and roll it between your fingers. That makes it nice and sharp, so it should go through even some pretty small bead holes. That is something you'll want to consider when you choose beads for your project. Some of them have teeny tiny holes, and the only thing that's going to work in them is wire. But most beads you can get through this cord. This is a finer cord. So I'm going to start with the longer ends and just pick a bead that's going to go around about the middle and poke it on. Is that the hole? Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Slide it all the way down to your knot. And then I like to leave some space. I like this necklace to kind of have a loose, funky look. I don't like it to be really tight. So leave a little space and simply tie another knot. This has got to be one of the quickest and simplest necklaces out there. Okay, we don't want it that far down. Now here's a tool that you can use for adjusting your knots. It's just an awl. I wouldn't make it that long, any longer than that, but that's okay because that's a big bead. So then we'll continue working around. You can work from one end to the other, or you can work back and forth. It doesn't really matter. Slide on your next bead. Slide it down to the knot. Leave a little space. Best way, grab a hold of your bead, make a loop with the two strands and twist them, and then poke the free end, the end that doesn't have beads on it, through. And now you have a big loop that you can put exactly where you want. I just keep using my thumbnail and position that. There we go. So you can make these whatever size you want. I make them maybe twice the length of the bead. So this bead is this long, so the space is about that big. It depends on whatever looks good at the moment. So then the next thing we'll do is this chip. I think the most fun part of doing this kind of a project is actually in the planning. I love to sit down with my boxes of beads. They're all sorted by color. And just plan. Lay things out, look at them, add, subtract beads until I'm pleased with the way it looks. So since this chip is kind of small, I'm just going to there we go. Make a smaller space. You know, I think I want to make this one smaller. It really is too big. Now, like I've mentioned before, this wax linen, the knots are pretty secure because of the wax, but you can get them apart, and what is required is a sharp tool, fairly decent eyesight, and a little patience. So I'm going to take this knot out and retie this because I'm not happy with it. I think I'd rather it be, it just seems too floppy. Rather it be holding this nugget a little tighter. So I'll be back and we'll carry on. I think I may continue on after I do that, so I'll be back. Well, hello, I'm back, and I've gone ahead and moved that knot closer and gone ahead and added all the other beads and the knots in between them. And I was surprised to find out that each knot takes up just about 1/2 of an inch, almost exactly. I figured I was exaggerating when I figured on 1/2 an inch per knot, but that worked out to just about exactly right. So when you want to figure out how long you want your necklace, you need to take the length, figure out how many knots you're going to have, so how many beads in each you have, and add 1 to that, because there's 1 on each end here, and calculate, and then also add in a little extra, because you know the twine is like 10 to 15 cents a yard, so add in a few extra inches so that you've got plenty of length, because it's really aggravating to run out. So what I'm going to do now, what I just did was I matched up these 2 ends, and that, yes, I wanted those just about at the middle. So I matched up these 2 last knots, and then I'm just going to trim this down so that all of these pieces are the same length. Now, if you're not interested in doubling this necklace around to wear it as a choker, then you don't have to add the clasp to it. If you're just going to wear it at the long length, then go ahead and do what I did on this one. I just made knots. I just knotted. In fact, I started with a loop on one end because I knew I wasn't going to be, let's see if I can show you that better. I knew I wasn't going to be adding a clasp, so I started with double the length of twine I wanted and folded one end. And then when I got to the other end, I just slipped one end through and tied a knot, and that's my finish. And you'll notice I left a nice clear space back here. This makes it so much easier, more comfortable to wear instead of having lumpy beads back there. And it also hangs nicely and doesn't shift around as much. So we're going to go ahead and finish these ends with a clasp. And what I like to use to make sure it's nice and secure are split rings. Split rings are different from jump rings because, let me use my pliers to hold it so you can see it instead of my fingers in the way. Because you can see it goes around twice. If you've ever worked with a split ring, you probably have a love-hate relationship with it. They're wonderful because they're very secure. You know they're not going to pull apart like a jump ring will. But how do you get it on there? What you need is a special tool, and it's got this little hook here. It's a special plier, and you pop it in there, and you have to do it close to an end and get it just right and hold your tongue just right. and then it opens. I hate using these this way, but I do like the security of knowing that they're not going to come out. So for this application with the twine, I don't have to fiddle with the special pliers. I can just slip it over one end and then tie a knot in my cord. And we'll trim that down. Like I've said, the wax makes this very secure, so you can trim it quite closely. So here's our one end with our split ring, and we'll do the same on the other side. Just slide it over, because the jump ring's got that little opening, and I can just see the cord wearing itself a hole and opening it up. So, you know, for making jewelry, especially for somebody else, or if you're selling it or a gift, I would make it secure. If I make jewelry for me, well, I know how to fix it, so hopefully it doesn't fall apart someplace that I can't retrieve it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a lobster claw, and we just pop that right over our ring. Grab the pliers and give it a squeeze. Yep, that's not going anywhere. And now our necklace is done. And it should be long enough, oh yeah, that should be plenty long, to double and wear as a choker, or to wear just long length. So let me show you a few other necklaces that I've made using the same technique. It really couldn't be much simpler. It's just a layout of beads that you like together, a combination that you think goes together. 2 strands of twine. 1 strand goes through the bead, 1 strand lies on the outside, and there are knots between each of the beads. In fact, this bead is an even one with holes. It has just these, it's kind of like for chains or whatever, holes for jump rings. But I just threaded, I don't know if you can see it, just threaded the twine through the 2 holes and threw it on because I really liked the way it looked with all these other beads. This one's a favorite. I actually made it to match this bracelet that I showed you on the Naughty Beaded bracelet video. Then there's this one that I just made. I love tiger eye, and these beads add some interest, and then the amber chips just bring out a little something different. This is a great one to wear in the fall, but it looks terrific in the summertime with black. And then this one, I just adore the color combinations in this one. This one's very long. It's about 42 inches in length, so it's great for doubling up and wearing as a choker. This one, the spaces between the beads are a bit longer, but that's proportionate because most of the beads in this necklace are bigger. And the wood adds some interesting texture. What's amazing is that these are not expensive beads. These turquoise ones are glass. They're pressed glass beads. These blue and purple beads, they're plastic. They're not expensive beads at all. And the wooden ones are fairly inexpensive. So this is just a great necklace that goes with just about anything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you make your own knotted beaded bracelet or necklace, and make yourself a bracelet while you're at it to go with it. Both the tutorials are available at keepsakecrafts.net.